Life pro tip. If you're staying in a hotel and need to iron your clothes, send the first few puffs of steam into a towel. It may have been a while since the last time the iron was used, and the steam holes may be filled with nasty brown mineral deposits which you don't want. Heat blasted into your clothes.
This is an excellent life pro tip, and it applies to borrowed irons as well as ones in hotels. I actually wrecked a shirt once by doing this. Just before a job interview, I was staying in university residence and didn't have an iron, so I borrowed one from a friend. PSSHHT, big brown rust spot right in the fabric. The only thing saving me was I ironed the back of the shirt first and had a suit jacket soak it. Cover it. This sounds like the kind of tip one posts immediately after using a hotel iron and blowing brown mineral deposits into their clothes. An actual good LPT. I think we can wrap up the sub people. Great tip. Thanks up. I have a big presentation to do tomorrow and would be mortified if my shirt got stained while ironing it in the hotel tonight.
Life pro tip. If you so can't make a decision about where to eat, play the 5 to 1 game. You give them 5 restaurants. They pick 2, and you pick from those.
If they can't pick one, they're unlikely to be able to pick 2. Burger, pizza, sushi, Chinese, or ramen. Pick 2. I don't care. Just pick 2. Not Chinese. That's not picking 2. Wherever you want to go. Okay, pizza. Except pizza. Do you want to go to the McDonald's a mile north of us or the one a mile south of us? Quote, look at all you big city folk living in towns with 5 restaurants. Shit. My husband and I have a rule that when one suggests a place to eat and the other doesn't want to go there, you can say no, but you have to come up with another suggestion. This prevents one person from coming up with endless ideas, all of which are swatted away, and gets you to a decision a lot faster.
Life pro tip. Inflation is currently approximately 2% per year. If you are not getting more than that per year as a raise, you are getting a pay cut. Make sure to take inflation into account when you get a raise.
Same with your bank. Don't settle for 0.04% interest. If you are fortunate enough to have health insurance and you're only getting that 2% raise, your pay cut is much larger than you think. Our health insurance went up 12% this year, but gotta have it. Nice to see less in your paycheck after a raise. Inflation was around 3% a year where I worked. Company took this into account with a 3% raise. Changed industries once I realized this was the norm in the industry. Either that or job hopping. When you get a raise. I know this wasn't meant to be funny, but it is.
Life pro tip. At the end of the April Fool's joke, the pranked person should be laughing too.
I reprogrammed our Alexa late last night, so when my roommate told it to turn on the lights, it opened the blinds instead. Instead of opening the blinds, it turned on Mariah Carey, etc. We were both in stitches. When I was in high school, someone on April Fool's Day slashed every single tire on every single car in the senior parking lot. And by slashed, I mean he printed out hundreds of pictures of slash and taped them to people's tires. I thought it was hilarious. Once in my undergrad, 2 random girls just walked up to me and blew an ear horn in my ear shouting, "April Fools." They were going around just ruining people's hearing. I have never been more mad about a prank in my life. Best prank that fits this LPT. I arrived at my work desk one April Fool's Day and had 56 voicemails. They were from all different people in my company but the same message. The message was, "Please make sure you get Shelly's voicemail." The last voicemail was Shelly saying, "Happy April Fool's Day." Quote.
Life pro tip. Parents of teens. Give your child an innocuous sounding phrase to text you as a code for "get me out of here" when they want to avoid peer pressure but not look like they are being lame.
My dad set this up for me when I was younger and hanging with friends who were kinda rude to me. My friend would ask me if I could stay over, and if I didn't really want to, I'd call my dad and say, "Can I stay over?" "Oh, I can't." Which meant I didn't want to. I love him so much for that. Wish I would tell him how much that means to me now. Love it. Also, telling your kids that they can call you to be picked up at any time no matter what is so important to avoid dangerous situations. I always told my mom that she should call at a certain time and make a scene saying that if I don't get home right now she'll kick me out. LMAO worked 10 out of 10 times. She always waited for a confirmation text. Then she'd yell over the phone. I'd put her on speaker and people were terrified. Best mom ever. Mine was always something like, "Hanging out with X, save me some supper." We never said supper in real life, so any use of the word was code for "get me the fuck outta here."
Life pro tip. If the IRS calls you, it is a scam. The IRS will always start contact you through the US Postal Service.
Similar with the HMRC in the UK. The only time they call you asking for payment is on a debt that you are already aware of and have been in contact with them previously about. I got a call saying my house was going to be raided. Scammer. Sir, you are under investigation by the IRS. Me. Really? What's my social security number? Scammer. Sir, this is a serious matter. Me. Bye. Damn, I wish I saw this post a few weeks ago when my BF was panicking because the IRS called his job. Lol. I've been getting a few calls a day from the Social Security that my social is in danger and that I need to speak with officer. Please press 1 to retain my social.
Life pro tip. If someone doesn't appreciate something you do for them, it probably means that it isn't that important to them. Rather than stew about it or demand recognition, just add it to the list of things you don't need to do anymore.
LPT. Do nice things for people as a show of love, not because you need recognition for your good deeds. Small sacrifices don't need to be thought of as sacrifices. Addendum. Know the difference between small sacrifices and big sacrifices, and know when to draw lines. Letting people take you for granted or walk all over you is not okay. I never get thanked for the kidney transplants, but I always leave a cell phone for them on the bathtub rim. LPT. Don't assume. Communicate. Otherwise, you'll stop doing stuff for them and that'll be number 1 on the list of 10 reasons they cite for divorcing you later, even though they never said a word about it before. Not talking from marriage experience, but I've been in relationships like this. Man, I cringed at the beginning of your post because my dad says, "Suck it up, buttercup," when he complains about how lazy millennials are. Is this what a trigger word is?
Life pro tip. If you want to divide something among 2 people, usually kids, you get one person to divide, and the other person gets first pick on which piece they want. Everyone wins and it ensures the person who divides is fair.
Yeah, it works. My dad did it with me and my brother. The only problem is that whichever of us was cutting spent about 20 minutes trying to get it perfect. It's a good way to dissolve a business partnership too. I haven't tried it for a divorce, but that might be good fun. Always did this as kids. Heck, I still do this now. But it doesn't take so long to split it these days. Unlike when we were kids, fussing over the number of chocolate chips in a cookie. I always purposely left one piece much larger because I loved my little sister and I wanted her to have the bigger piece. Problem is she also loved me and always took the smaller piece. TL. Doctor, I used my sister's love for me to get the bigger piece.
Life pro tip. Adopt an adult dog from a shelter if you want a companion but don't have time, patience to train a puppy. They are already potty trained in most cases and love you all the same.
The best dog I ever owned was a 2-year-old American Bulldog. He was there at the shelter for so long that a donor paid for his obedience classes and all. He was the sweetest, quietest, most behaved pup I ever owned, and I honestly don't think I could ever find a dog with that personality again. Quiet, and chill, and smart. Fun and not a box of endless destructive energy. Foster-based rescues are also a great resource for adopting an older dog. Fosters can tell you a dog's strengths and weaknesses and can help you find your ideal match. Dogs already placed in rescues have often also had costly vet care already completed. Source: I fostered 9 dogs. I have 2. One was born on the street. We brought her home and she became my shadow. Other dogs take note. She will latch onto your face if you try and mount her. The other spent 2 years in the shelter from birth. He doesn't understand what toys are, and if you fart too loud he quivers in a corner for hours. We mix anxiety meds in with his yogurt. Don't tell him. I love them both dearly. I've had puppies in the past, no thank you. Shelter dogs for life. Also, despite sounding morbid, an adult dog has fewer years left. If the commitment of the next 15 years of your life is hard for your lifestyle, maybe you can give some old hound a good last few years.